Hello and welcome to another day in paradise. Today I want to talk to you about acquiring land in Ghana. What must you do to acquire land in Ghana? First, I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, share and click the bell notification. Now, I know you've probably watched a whole host of videos about acquiring land in Ghana. So have I, because I was also interested in acquiring land in Ghana. But I'm not sure whether you saw it yourself, but a lot of the information is kind of misleading. Some of the videos are actually titled in a way to try and get more views. So I'm not sure if you've clicked on this because it said free land. This is one of the ways people do it. We're going to go into that because it's really important. We have a talk about the free land that is available in Ghana. But it's also important that we get the facts straight, okay? One thing we need to realize is that buying any type of business transaction in Ghana is not the same as it is in the diaspora, especially in North America and in Europe. It is totally different, okay? The rules are different. Just like the rules are different from the United States, from France. They are different, okay? But on the continent, there are certain intricacies, certain nuances that you need to know, which will help you to not just buy the land itself and to acquire free land, but also in any other business aspects if you're going into business in Africa. So without further ado, let's unpack this. Can you buy land in Ghana? That's the most important question. And the answer to that question is no, not really. It's a lot more complicated than you think. You see, you as a diasporan, as a non-Ghanaian diasporan, as a non-Ghanaian citizen, you personally cannot buy land outright in your name in Ghana. Okay? This is fact number one. That cannot be contested. You cannot buy land outright in your name in Ghana. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, well, that's not the truth, is it? Yeah, that's not the truth. I've seen loads of videos with people buying land. Well, actually, they're not actually buying the land. You see, the Ghanaian government aren't stupid. They don't just sell their land to whoever comes in willy-nilly. We have seen episodes in the past where governments have had very weak legislation about land rights and land, who can acquire that land. We had it also, if you remember, in Palestine. You don't remember this actually, but if you've done any research, you would know about the Palestinian conflict in so-called Israel. So you have this land, a country 70 years ago called Palestine. And over the years, the Jewish people wanted to have a home to go back to. So over the years, they said, okay, we've invested our money, we've got lots of money. That's one thing we've got, lots of money. Let's buy the land in Palestine. Let's just buy it, bit by bit, by bit, by bit. A few hectares there, 100 hectares there, and they did it over generations actually. They did this. They picked and got little pieces of land. And, well, at the end of the day, you will know what happened, because Palestine as a country now doesn't officially exist. It's now called the State of Israel. This is the reason why it's important the Ghanaian government had some really strict laws in place about land rights, land ownership, so that you didn't get people coming in from the Far East, coming in, buying up all the land, and then sort of this new, I think it's called neocolonialistic approach coming, and then them just taking all the land, because that's one thing people in the Far East have. I'm talking about China, of course. They have lots of money, so they could quite easily do that. So the Ghanaian government have put this legislature in place to make sure that the land is protected, not just for the Ghanaian citizens, but for repatriating Africans like yourselves. So let's get back into this. Right, so you can't buy the land, but you can lease the land. And when people talk on YouTube about buying land, this is what they are actually doing. They are leasing it. And I think the lease is 50 years long. So if you wanted to buy a piece of land, what you're actually doing is you're leasing it, you pay for the land. What you're paying for is for that land for 50 years. And that's it. Okay? So you're paying for that piece of land for 50 years. Now, this is where things get a little complicated, but you will then have options once you have put your money down, right? You have options. So you have 4 options. Option number 1, you can wait, have your piece of land, and then wait until the 50 years runs out, and then simply give them the land back. Option number 2, you can extend the lease. Okay, so once that 50 years runs out, you can extend that lease. You have the option, you have the right to extend that lease for another 50 years. Okay, so here we have it. Here's the most important parts, okay? Options number 3 and options number 4. Write this down. On option number 3, if you have built a house or some form of infrastructure on that land, right, at the end of the 50-year lease, you have the right to demand, and those are the right words, to demand for payment of that house. So you would have your house appraised, okay, and valued, right? You would have that number, and at the end of that lease, you would then go to that person and say, okay, our lease is finished, right? I have built a $100,000 house on that land, so I want so-and-so amount of money for that house. You would deal with it whatever way you would want to deal with it. Now, I don't know the intricacies of what is possible at the end of the 50-year lease, and you're trying to sell your house, or you sell your building to this landowner. I don't know the full intricacies, but I know it's possible. Okay, once you have that building built on that land, all of a sudden your power, the amount of power you have on your land, on this land that is owned by somebody else that you have leased, it triples. It goes up tenfold. Okay, and this one's my favorite option. It's the option that I'm going to be doing, and the smart option. If you're not doing this option out of all these 3, then there's something wrong with you. All right, so option number 4, right? Live in Ghana for 5 years, right? Get your citizenship. And then after you have your citizenship, go and see a lawyer and organize a way of acquiring the land fully in your name. No ifs, no ands, no buts. Okay? This is possible, of course, because you are now a fully fledged Ghanaian citizen. You have the same rights as any other Ghanaian now. Okay, so you can negotiate a price for the land. You will need to pay for the land again. Yeah, that's the way it works. You will need to pay for the land again, possibly. It depends on who you're talking to, of course, and it depends on the landowner and the value and everything else. I'm not going into all that. I'm just telling you that at the end of your 5 year of living inside Ghana, you can have the right, once you've gained your citizenship, to have this piece of land given to you in full. No ifs, no ands, no buts. Okay, it's your land then. Your land. So I also have heard around social media, everyone talking about getting free land. Okay? And this is one thing I want to talk about because it's important we have this conversation, right? You've been told in your life that nothing in life is free. To an extent, that might be true. It's definitely the truth when it comes to land ownership in Ghana, okay? So there is free land available, but it comes with a multitude of caveats, okay? There are many strings tied to this free land, okay? And you have to be very, very careful. So first of all, you've got to recognize the landowners. Most landowners, chiefs and chiefdoms, these people don't think about themselves. They are already sorted. They have everything. You've seen the amount of gold they wear. Okay? They're taken care of. They think in generations. So they think about their children's children. Okay? So when they are selling land to you, they don't mind taking your money because they know at the end of the day, at the end of that 50-year lease, right, they will have the chance to either buy the building which you have built on that land and acquire the land back as well. If you haven't built any land on there and you've simply farmed the land, because you could have taken that land for farming, they'll just take it back at the end of 50 years and they can either lease it to somebody else or they can extend the lease to you. This is why so many chiefs are willing to give up their land for free, because it's just sitting there doing nothing, and if they can make money from it, hey, why not? So they will negotiate something with you. If you wanted 20 acres so you could produce 20 tons of cassava or whatever, this is just, I don't know how much cassava you can grow on 20 acres. 100 tons, let's say 100 tons, let's say, a year. So if you wanted to grow 100 tons of cassava a year, the landowner will say, here's the land, that's no problem, right? We want 25% of the profit, or we want 25% of the gross makings of that. You can have the land for free though. And so that's one way they do it. Another way is that if you wanted to build a building on it, okay, you come in, you build your building, you build a building which has 3 apartments in it. You live in one apartment, you rent out the other apartment, and that's how you make your money. And then the chiefs will say, okay, we'll take this last apartment, and they'll either keep it for themselves or they will ask you, okay, we will take the rent for that top apartment there, or we will have somebody live in that top apartment there. That's the way it works, you see? So there are lots of ways of acquiring free land, but please don't just go to Ghana and say, oh, I want this land here, that land's free, I want that, I'll take that, thank you. Because it's just not going to happen. Listen, I'm going to be as blunt and honest as possible, okay? Because you are going to get a lot of people who will go to Africa with this type of mindset, believing that that it's lined with milk and honey, and to an extent it is, but Africans are some of the smartest people on this planet, and you know it. Okay, so if you go to Ghana with that type of mindset, believing that things are going to be thrown at you, you're already starting off on the wrong foot. Okay, that's not going to happen. Another thing is the rapport that you build, the relationships that you build over there. Okay, so you need somebody over there that you can trust. Okay, someone who is Ghanaian and someone who you can trust. And this is quite important because there are going to be times when you're not going to be on the land, and there are such things as land grabbers and so forth. I'm going to make a separate video about land grabbing in Ghana and in Nigeria, because it's happening a lot more often than you think. I'm going to tell you one thing not to do. Don't do what the Mzungus and the Chinese, or what all those foreigners are doing. What are they doing? They are rolling into a chiefdom, acting as if they are here. I'm here, I'm from the West, I've got lots of money. Yeah, it's no problem. How much is this? Oh, that's no problem, you know. Because those chiefs are going to look at you and they're going to be like, okay, we're not stupid, we're rich. All those chiefs are rich, right? The main chiefs, the head chiefs, they're all rich already. So there is nothing you can do that is going to impress them. You're not going to be able to show them enough money to impress them, because they don't see money in the same way. And this is, once again, a clash of cultures. Many people are going to struggle with this. They're going to think, oh, well, I'll just flash them a bit of cash and they'll just jump on it, won't they? Don't let the Western media turn your mind inside out, believing that all Africans are about money, okay? You will get people in Africa where if you show them $1,000, that will be more money than what they've ever seen, literally. And they will find a way to take it from you. These people exist. These people exist here in Europe. I've seen these people with my own 2 eyes, okay? So don't go in flashing the cash. What you want to do, if you really want to build something, in Ghana, you need, especially with free land, you need to build a personal relationship with the tribe or the chief of that chiefdom, or the chief of that tribe, or the entire tribe itself. You need to build not just a business relationship, but a personal relationship with that tribe. You can impress them with things which you may think is so stupid, so small, okay? You can impress them with these things. Just not even talking about money. Because once you start talking about money, they see you in a different sort of a way. They think that you think that they have that type of mindset, that money is something that they rarely come across. Then they'll start to look at you like you are stupid, okay? Which you would be if you start doing that. So don't do that, okay? Build a relationship with them. Go and see them. Every time you go and see them, sit down with them. They'll always ask you to stay. Stay with them. Talk to them. Find out what they need. Every time you go, bring something with you. Bring pens for the children and books. That sort of stuff. I've done this before. I've gone to chiefdoms in Gambia. I've never seen reactions. It was like I was giving them free iPads. they could not believe that I had come all the way from the UK and brought them something so small that was so small in my. That was incredible for me. Literally, and my eyes started to well up. It really was an incredible experience. These little things, bring them something. Find out what they want. Bring them football shirts. They love football shirts. especially the hottest, young, newest football, like Sadio Mane. Bring a brand new Sadio Mane shirt with it signed or something. They will love you until the end of the earth. This is just the way it is, because you have personally gone out of your way to do something for them. Give them $1,000 in cash. They'll accept it, and in their minds they'll tell you to. Now, of course, this takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. It does. But it will pay dividends in the long-term future. Can you imagine not just handing down a piece of land to your children, but handing down a developed relationship that they have built as well with perhaps some of the kids of the same chief who has power in Parliament. You've got to think out of the box. You can't think like what we think here, where you just buy something, that's it, it's an exchange. There is much more to it there, and this is something that you need to keep in consideration when going to do a transaction like this. There is so much more to it than a materialistic transaction. In my point of view, acquiring the spiritual blessings and the reattachment of yourself and your family to a real African tribe, I mean, having them accept you and bring you in as part of their family, that is priceless. So why must you get your skates on? Well, because while Africans aren't stupid, the Chinese aren't stupid either. The Europeans aren't stupid either. So what are they doing? Yeah, they're coming over. Not so much in Ghana, but definitely in places like Zambia, Central Car as well. They're coming to these places in their droves, and they are getting married to women, and they have some form of deal where they give them $1,000, perhaps not even that, $500. You get married to me, simple as that. When they get their marriage certificate, they get to have citizenship, right? You get to have citizenship. Now this varies from country to country. So once they have citizenship, that gives them the right to buy the land. And they are doing this. So buying land sort of in the relatively near future is kind of critical. It's more important now more than ever because of all the news places like Ghana are getting. They're getting places, and there's so many diasporans moving back to Ghana now that house prices and land prices are starting to slowly go up, of course. So you have to take that into consideration, okay? Because if you have a plan for 3 years' time to move to Africa, like some people do when their kids leave school or whatever, you're just going to miss the boat. So there we have it. Do you have any experience of buying land in Ghana? Do you plan to buy land in Ghana yourself? Have you had any problems? Has anybody tried taking that land? Has anybody tried building something themselves on that land? I would love to hear your experiences. Please leave a comment in the comment section. I'd love to talk with you guys because, of course, I'm in the same boat. I've done a ton of research but I haven't actually bought anything myself yet. And so I would love to hear from you. So please leave any questions or comments in the comment section below. Guys, once again, really thank you for listening. I really, really appreciate the fact that I have you here and that you're here to listen to what I have to say and to the information that I have to give. And I appreciate the fact that you trust what I tell you. So thank you very much. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next one. Ta-ra a bit.